Chapter 11. Innate Divine Power. No matter what, when a person was facing death, their potential would be completely stimulated. Son Shi's EXP hence increased rapidly. However, if he died too many times, the freedom attribute points and physique rewards would decrease and he would basically only be given 1 point after every round. Luckily, Daidu specialized in physical attacks, hence all the points Son Shi received were physique points. This was lucky because the physique attribute was very cost-effective. After all, this attribute was very comprehensive in terms of its many aspects. Strength, speed, reaction, defense and so on would all increase given an increase in the attribute itself. Hence anyone having physique attribute was more terrifying than postnatal martial artists who practiced external cultivation. Other practitioners usually only focus on one aspect when practicing external cultivation, such as strength, defense, or speed. None of them are as comprehensive as him who is able to focus on all aspects at once. Moreover, Daidu's strength was constantly depleting. Under such circumstances, even if Son Shi did not take the initiative to farm for physique points, he would still be able to build resistance to Daidu's attack gradually. However, even so, he could only hold on for a little longer before being killed. There was a huge gap between him and Daidu. This guy was a first-rate expert when he was alive, before he died and was turned into a zombie by the monster. Even though he might not be as powerful as a legendary Khanate powerhouse, he was definitely a peak postnatal powerhouse. Son Shi's cultivation, however, was at most only at the early postnatal realm, and his moves relied on improvisation. How can such a difference be so easily made up for? When Daidu hits him, it was like a burly man bullying a 3-year-old child. Killing him was a piece of cake for Daidu. In Daidu's hands, Son Shi had already died either 3 or 4 times in succession. Under the pressure, Son Shi's actual combat ability kept increasing. In the beginning, he could not block a single move, but gradually, he could now exchange a few blows. After being beaten to death by Daidu 10 times in a row, Son Shi's entire body trembled as a new power appeared out of thin air and surged through him. You have been killed by zombies 10 times. You have awakened your innate divine strength. Your physique has increased by 10 points and your strength has doubled. After the system notification, Son Shi was stunned. He was already killed 10 times by Daidu. I'm really quite weak. Son Shi was a little depressed. I can't be killed by this guy again. There's no reward after this. His expression was solemn as he quickly checked his condition according to the interface. Name: Son Shi. Race: Human. Spirit: 8.0. Physique: 28.7. Comprehension: 1.4. Talent: Fire Spirit Root. Innate Strength. Ability: None. Energy: Yon Energy 37. Freedom Attribute Points: 17. Lottery Chance: 0. My spirit increased by 0.1. This might be related to the increase in my combat experience. Moreover, after my innate divine strength awakened, my constitution stats increased by 10 points. Son Shi was delighted, coupled with the fact that he had already accumulated 18.7 points of physique previously. His physique instantly reached 28.7, increasing by more than 50%. If 6 physique points could give him the strength of 1 bull, and innate divine strength could double his strength, would his current strength be close to 10 bulls? Not only did his strength increase immensely, Son Shi's other physical aspects also increased by terrifying amounts. For example, his reaction speed and defense had improved comprehensively. Now, other than his moves being inferior to martial arts practitioners, his body had probably already surpassed ordinary mid-stage postnatal martial artists and was comparable to the late-stage postnatal realm practitioners. Other than his powerful physique, he also had more than 30 points of Yon energy, making him feel like there was a ball of fire in his body. As his anger surged, some of the Yon energy in his body was mobilized. The chi in his blood immediately bulged and his skin turned red. Seeing Daidu charging over, Son Shi no longer felt much pressure. The flames in Son Shi's abdomen throbbed as if there was a faint ball of flames burning inside. Son Shi clenched his fists and his anger poured into his fists as he punched fiercely ahead to meet Daidu's punch. With a dull thud, Son Shi staggered back, but he did not fall to the ground again. He felt that the difference in strength between the both of them has lessened, that the way he exerted his strength was still poor. Amidst the sounds of sizzling, Daida's fist was smoking as if it had been roasted by fire. He looked at Sanshi in a daze and his eyes vaguely became more expressive. They turned even colder and darker as wisps of black cold fog were released from his body. He ran up to Sanshi and continued to attack. Dang, bang, bang, bang. Sanshi took the blows with difficulty. However, although he was at a disadvantage, he managed to stabilize himself. He carefully observed Daidu, who seemed to only know how to attack with his hands, even though his movements were agile, and fell into deep thought. In the next move, he lowered his body and dodged Daida's fist. He then raised his leg and kicked out with all his might, sweeping it ruthlessly towards Daida's leg. Daidu was a corpse after all. No matter how strong he was, his body, especially his lower body, was not flexible. Under Sanshi's full strength, Daida's burly body tilted and was kicked to the ground. However, his hands also took the opportunity to grab Sanshi's kicking leg. Sanshi staggered and fell to the ground like a horse, tearing his crotch. In the corner of his eyes, he could see that Daidu was about to get up, yet he could not run away. However, he knew that if he waited for the other party to counterattack, he would be at a disadvantage. Sanshi then bent his thighs. Instead of retreating, he advanced and clamped them like a pair of scissors around Daida's neck. Since there were no weapons lying around that Sanshi could use, he picked up a huge pebble and smashed it on Daida's head. With a crisp sound, the latter's chin was smashed out of shape. However, Daidu did not seem to feel anything. He grabbed Sanshi's arm with one hand and roared as he tried to get up. Sanshi did not give this guy a chance. He took the pebble with his other hand and aimed it at the nose, which is one of the weaker parts of the face. Crack! As Sanshi was stronger now, the pebble sank into Daida's face and smashed it completely. The latter struggled a few times and a black airflow leaked out of him. Daidu stopped moving. Ding! Congratulations on killing the target of death. You are rewarded with one chance to draw the lottery. Upon hearing the notification, he let go of the pebble and heaved a sigh of relief. If you're dead, just stay dead. Did you really think you could still be as agile as you were when you were alive? Sanshi spat out a mouthful of saliva. If Daidu was still alive, his clumsy sweeping kick would not have had much effect. In that case, his strength must not have increased by much after turning into a zombie. Anyways, there were obvious flaws in his movements. Perhaps it's because he did not mature well. Sanshi guessed. He stood up and looked at the water monster waving its tentacles angrily in the distance. He mocked, I think you're quite mediocre. Now that you don't have the help of a super soldier, can you still come and hit me? Indeed, the monster could not do anything to him. It waved its tentacles for a while before retreating. Sanshi smelled a rotting stench and his gaze landed on Daidu. Black spots had appeared densely on his pale skin, which had already begun to rot. Just as he was about to leave, he saw something bulging in Daida's tattered clothes. He pinched his nose and took it out. It was a small rucksack. The things he carried with him should be of some value. After Sanshi opened it, he found a stack of banknotes, about 10,000 taels, 2 small bottles and a beast skin scroll. Upon opening the scroll, the red words on the black background stated, the cultivation method of the divine sand palm. Divine sand palm. It's probably the iron sand palm. His palm power is indeed terrifying. It even blew up my head. Looking down, this palm technique was also called the iron sand palm. However, it was much more powerful than ordinary iron sand palm. It had a special breathing technique that could be cultivated both internally and externally. Read latest chapters at wuxia-world.site only. Cultivation is too troublesome. It's not suitable for me. Sanshi shook his head and opened the 2 small bottles to take a look. There were 2 types of pills inside, one red and one white. He did not recognize them at all. He hurriedly put away his things and strode towards the river. This time, he was prepared to try to deal with this thing. As soon as he entered the attack range, several tentacles shot out. Sanshi dodged half of them, but the remaining half easily pierced through his body and killed him again.